All right, guys, day 3 of the bow reviews. Today's a pretty cool one. I'm sure most of you guys out there know of Mathews Archery. And I would say probably 99.9% of the guys or women that have or are watching this video have either shot or held a Mathews at some point or another. Everybody in the industry kind of knows the name that Mathews has made for itself. With that being said, guys, today's video is going to be all about the Mathews Phase 4 29. Alright guys, so this bow here in particular is going to be kind of geared towards the guys that like a really short axle-to-axle bow, like something really compact for blind hunting or whitetail hunting or whatever it may be. I mean, you can use this bow for anything, but a lot of guys are going to like this bow for the fact that it's so short and compact. So let's talk about some of the specs on this bow. So axle to axle, 29 inches, hence the name 29. Brace height is going to be 6 inches. The weight of this bow, according to Mathews, is 4.48 pounds. What I got holding it off the scale, 4.7 pounds with a whisker biscuit attached. Draw weight is going to be 60, 65, 70, and 75 pounds, which if you shot any of the Mathews over the last couple of years, they have what's called the Crosscentric Cams with switchweight technology. The switchweight comes into play because you don't change the limbs on these bows, you just change the mod. And that mod actually according to what mod you've got, changes how heavy or light the draw weight is on the bow. All the bows in these tests that I'm shooting are at exactly 70 pounds. Speed on this bow, 340 feet a second. Draw length, it's going to be available in 25.5 and 30 inch, from 25.5 to 30 inch draw. Now, this bow, or the Mathews bows in general, where they're different than most other bow companies, or a lot of other bow companies, is they have an individual mod for each draw length. So if you have to change the draw length on this bow and you buy it from somebody, or you've already bought it and it just is wrong, or whatever it is, you have to have the specific mod, so that's an extra fee most of the time, depending on what archery shop you go to. With that being said, if you're somebody that hunts out west and you have a let-off restriction, a lot of places it's 80% or less is what's allowed. These bows come stock with 85% mods, so you need to keep that in mind. If you're going to want to shoot 80%, then you need to go ahead and buy your bow with 80% mods on it. Like I said, Crosscentric Cams, switchweight technology. This bow is going to be available in 8 different colors, but you can customize these bows for a $50 upcharge. So there's a lot of options with Mathews. You can actually go on their website and check out the bows, and it'll actually allow you to design your own bow on there. So that's some of the specs on this bow. Of course, you're going to have the bridge lock technology, where your sight, most sight brands now make sights that'll actually mount directly through the center of this riser. Same thing with your rest. They have the integrated dovetail on the back for all your integrated style rests, which there are several manufacturers now that make those. You've got one stabilizer hole on the bottom and one on the back for mounting your sidebar, back bar, or your front bar. One thing to keep in mind that's really cool about Mathews is they're really designed for being a one system type of bow. So if you look at your cam here, hopefully you can see these tabs. Let me go to the other camera, you might see it better. You can see these tabs that stick up off your cams. Both cams are going to have those tabs. That's for what they're calling their SAS system, your stay-afield system, which is essentially just some served string material that loops in. It allows you to essentially press your bow in the field. It weighs next to nothing. It's a very, very good design. Mathews is going to have the cable guard, the roller guard that's down here at the center point of your bow. It's supposed to help alleviate any kind of weird tension on your cables. It's supposed to be a lot more accurate system. You still have the regular mounting holes for sights, stabilizers, sights and rests. But like I said, Mathews has a whole system built around these bows. Their stabilizers are awesome. Their quivers are the best that I've seen so far as actually the way they mount to the bow and how they actually work. They're awesome. Their accessories built around these bows are awesome. So let's go ahead and shoot this bow and let you listen to it. So the draw cycle's smooth, but it definitely stacks right there. You can feel it and see it lope over. Back wall is nice. It has a little bit of sponge to it, but it's a very, very stiff back wall. I like it. For whatever reason, this bow tends to pull top heavy to the right for me. And the string angle is pretty aggressive compared to what I like, but that's personal preference. The bow has just a little bit of vibration in the shot. It doesn't have a lot of jump on the shot, like it's not wanting to jump out of your hands, but you can definitely feel vibration in the shot. And most of the time putting a stabilizer and stuff like that on there is going to alleviate most of that. Right there. It's not a harsh cam, but it's a smooth draw, but it's stiff and it stacks pretty tight towards the back end of the draw cycle. One thing you'll notice about this bow is it is very quiet. So that's pretty much Mathews. What they really designed their bows for is to be efficient and quiet. And you'll notice in this new Phase 4 how Mathews has the rubber actually built into the limbs. So it's essentially 4 limbs on top and 4 limbs on bottom with a rubber splitting the 2 halves. It's a very nice design. I'm hoping that that rubber lasts a long time. I'm sure it will. I wouldn't see Mathews putting anything out there that's not going to last, but that's one thing. Anytime you got new technology, there's always a chance that something could be a little weird about it. It doesn't really lope over really hard on the back end, and it goes smooth into the back of the draw cycle. Just a slight amount of hand shock in the bow, but it dissipates pretty fast. Right there. It's definitely easy to torque this bow. I've never really, let me shoot this bow. I've never really cared for Mathews grips. I would say this is probably my favorite Mathews grip of all of them. It's the same grip that they've had over the last couple of years. One thing about it, the Mathews there, hopefully that's focusing on that. That Mathews on the side and that walnut wood, I mean, that's a really pretty grip. It does look good. It's definitely, the Mathews has it down when it comes to the way they've got their bows finished and how durable their bows are. They definitely have that process down. All right, one more shot. Just take and focus on everything on this bow. Drawing back. Now I'm gonna let it down. It's not too bad. Draw it back. Like I said, good back wall. I don't really care for the string angle. And slight vibration on the back end. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the scores I've got on this bow. Let's talk about the speeds that I got on this bow and talk about what I think about the bow as a whole. All right, so at 27 inches, I got 300 with a 350, a 350 grain arrow. Like I said, 70-pound draw on the money. 27 inches, 300 feet per second at 350. 28 and a half, I got 316. 30 inches, I got 330. So we're about 10 feet a second slower than what the bow spec says this bow should shoot at the designated settings. 30 inches, 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds. With a 425 grain arrow, your medium or like average type hunting arrow weight in our location. 27 inches, I got 279. 285 or 28 and a half, I got 291. And at 30 inches, I got 303. Definitely went down quite a bit in speeds there. And then with a 513 grain arrow, kind of towards your heavier end of your arrows, at 27 inches, I got 257. 28 and a half, I got 267. And at 30 inches, I got 278. So if you're somebody that has a really long draw, 30 inches, 29 inches, you can shoot those heavier arrows and still maintain roughly that 280 feet a second, which is what I like to shoot personally if I have that option. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I do like to shoot closer to that 280 mark if I can help it. But yeah, that's the speeds that I got. Like I said, 330 feet a second. It's not shabby at all. It's one of the top 5 bows that I shot as far as speed goes. But it is about 10 feet a second slower than what they say this bow shoots. And that could be chronographed, just like everything else. There's variables, but that's what I got. Okay, so let's talk about the score here. These scores that I've got up here are from the last bow that I reviewed. Let me go ahead and erase them. So for shootability, I've got, get the right color. I've got a 5 for that, 5 for tunability, 5 for draw cycle, 7 for back wall, 5 for balance, 4 for weight, 8 for speed, 8 for noise, 6 on vibration, and 10 on fit and finish. This is going to be the first 10 that I've gave on these reviews so far. That's going to give us a total of 63 points. And then this bow comes in $50 cheaper than the average Pro Line bow for this year. And so I'm going to give it a 7 on that. So we got a total of 70 out of a possible 110. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that I just put up here. So for shootability, the reason I gave this bow a 5, the reason I gave it a 5 and not less than that is because this riser is so long. Mathews has been kind of leading the charge on these long, straight risers with the less reflexed risers. And this bow being 29 inches, it's very short axle to axle, but that riser does help. And it's a 6-inch brace height. So that's why I gave it a 5. If it was any bow other than a Mathews with this straight riser, I probably would have given it less than that because of the size of the bow. But at 29 inches, at 6-inch brace height, this bow for some people will not shoot very good. Some people are going to shoot this bow awesome. It's going to be all about what you like and what you don't like. You guys that have a really long draw length, this bow is going to have, the longer your draw length on the short axle to axle bow like this, the steeper your string angle is going to be. But with that being said, not everybody has a long draw, like myself included, so the string angle is not super bad. Tunability, I'm also going to give this bow a 5. There really isn't any options from Mathews like what you have on your Elites or what you have on your Bowtechs as far as adjusting your limb pockets or adjusting your cam without being able to put this thing in the press. With that being said, Mathews in general is not a hard bow to tune, and it seems to tune very well with the systems, the top hat systems that they have in place on this bow. I do like how this bow has actual screw-in axles instead of the slide in with the E-clips. This is a lot more secure in my opinion of a system. So for tunability, I'm giving this bow a 5, kind of middle of the road. Draw cycle, I'm giving this bow a 5. It is a little bit of a harsher draw cycle. It's smooth, I shouldn't say harsh. It's a smooth draw cycle, but it's stiff. For the weight that you're drawing, this bow to me feels like you're drawing more weight than a lot of other bows that I've tested. Back wall. This bow has a very good back wall. It's a nice stiff back wall. It does have a little bit of a sponge to it. And along with draw cycle, the valley on this bow isn't awesome, but it's pretty good. So back wall, I'm gonna give it a 7. Balance, like I said, the bow tends to balance a little bit top heavy right for me. And then once I add my equipment on here, I definitely would have to run a side or a back bar to balance that back out. So it's not horrible. And overall, the bow feels good in my hand when I shoot. I don't really care for the grip. It's okay. But for balance, I'm gonna give it middle of the road. I'm gonna give it a 5. Weight, because this bow, for the shortness of this bow, it is heavy. And Mathews has never been known really for a lightweight bow, with the exception of a couple bows, like the Creed was lighter. Some of that area, that line of bows were a little bit lighter bows. They had another one along with the Creed, and I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head now. It didn't do as well, but it was pretty light. Anyway, this bow is a little heavy, and once I have to add my equipment to it to get it to stabilize and balance out, it's gonna be a heavy bow. So I'm gonna give it a 4. Speed-wise, this bow, like I said, was in the top 3 or top 5 of the bows that I tested. I'm gonna give it an 8. Noise, I'm gonna give this bow an 8. It is very quiet. Mathews is known for being quiet. Giving the bow an 8. It's gonna be one of the higher scores you're gonna get for noise or lack of noise. Vibration, I'm gonna give this bow a 6. It does have some vibration in the shot. It dissipates very fast, but it does have some vibration in the shot. It's not a very bad, it's not a jumpy bow, but it does have some vibration. I'm gonna give it a 6. Fit and finish. Mathews has the business lockdown on fit and finish. You never hear about, or hardly ever hear about, finish issues on their bows. The cams are like I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if it's I'm sure it's some kind of a Cerakote type process where these things are coated with this black. I like the finish on the cams. They're very durable. I've beat the crap out of my V3 a couple years ago, my V3X, and the cams never lost their color. They never really got chunked out real bad. They've definitely done a very good job on the durability on these bows. So like I say, fit and finish, I'm gonna give it a 10. These bows look very sharp. Personal preference, but they do look very sharp. So we're gonna get a total of 63 with a bonus point of 7 for price, because like I said, it comes in $50 cheaper than the competitors' bows in this level. So we're gonna have a total score of 70. So it scored well, not my favorite, but it's a good shooting bow. If you're interested in something short, axle to axle, something that's gonna be very good out of a tree stand, inside of 40 yards, out of a ground blind, anything like that, this bow may be the bow for you. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment. I really need your comments, guys. It really helps my channel, and I'm thankful for you guys staying engaged and watching my content. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. If you have any issues with the way I'm scoring these bows, guys, comment down below and let me know. I'm really trying to bring you some good content. I'm trying to get you some good info out there, and I'm just doing this in a way where I would score a hunting bow as I'm trying to find one for myself. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to call these guys up here at the shop at 704-855-1300. They can answer just about any archery related questions that you have, and if they can't figure it out, they'll find somebody that can. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to live your life to the fullest, use your passions to bless others, and we'll catch you on the next one.